Hey, what's up? It's Jim, and today I'm going to talk about Beetlejuice Beetlejuice. It's nice to see Michael Keaton back as Beetlejuice, Tim Burton back to his former self, Catherine O'Hara's back, Winona Ryder, everybody returns, and it's like the gang's, for the most part, back together again. And it feels structure-wise loose and weird, and like, how is this all fitting together? You have new cast members like Jenna Ortega. You have a lot, or Justin Theroux, you have a lot of crazy, kooky stuff going on. It feels like probably one of the better Tim Burton films we've seen in a while. The one that feels like the Tim Burton from the early years that we all so much loved. And it feels wonderful. It's like, okay, cool, we're back to this again. And in some part of me really enjoys that, and I really like that. But another part of me is like, I'm sitting through so many reboots and legacy sequels and all this stuff. This just doesn't feel as special and monumental as it used to. And I don't know if it's just Beetlejuice, this movie, Beetlejuice 2, Beetlejuice doesn't go Hawaiian, whatever, this is his problem, or it's just my problem as an audience member. But it just sort of feels like I've done this so many times. How many times am I gonna feel like this is special at this point? Now, Beetlejuice is about Mr. Deeds, played by Jeffrey Jones in the original, dies. It brings the family back together and to the house that they had in the original movie. Lydia Dietz is a psychic. It's kind of like a medium and has a TV show. Her daughter, Jenna Ortega, is out of school. And they're not talking because when her dad died and stuff, I'm not sure. And then Catherine O'Hara's still doing art and stuff. And they come back to this town and are kind of haunted by Beetlejuice and what's going on, and suddenly are kind of dragged to the afterworld, particularly Jenna Ortega, and are kind of trying to avoid Beetlejuice. Well, at the same time Beetlejuice is being tracked by his ex-wife, who has brought herself back together and is killing people by sucking their souls in the dead world, and Willem Dafoe, who was a cop or something, is trying to stop her. This movie, like the original, it has a ton of stuff going on at once. It feels like a bunch of weird pieces stuffed together. Unlike the Ghostbusters follow-ups, this actually manages to replicate the original structure and makes you go, oh cool, you can do that. Because I was actually kind of worried that this was going to become super plot heavy. It is a lot more plot heavy than the original, but it replicates the structure enough that you kind of like it, or at least I liked it. It's nice seeing a Tim Burton film not bathed in CG and have all the stop motion, all the things that made Tim Burton, and all the design and stuff like that. Like it was literally nice seeing this guy back again. It feels like that CGI gross guy, not because he was gross, just because those movies look horrible, didn't exist, and this guy's been making movies the whole time, or hadn't been, or something. And I enjoyed that, and I had fun with this movie. It's not a bad movie, but it's sort of like John Waters' A Dirty Shame, and it felt so cool that he was back to doing his early dirty movies or gross movies, or like his early stuff, the stuff that, you know, when he was doing Cry Baby and Serial Mom and Hairspray and stuff. You're like, oh, when's he gonna go back to who he used to be? And then he does. And, like, I enjoy that film, but, like, if you gave me a choice between watching A Dirty Shame or, like, Pink Flamingos, I'm going to watch Pink Flamingos. And with Beetlejuice, that's the same problem that any of these legacy sequel reboots have. It's like, do I want to watch The Exorcist or The Exorcist Believer? Do I want to watch Alien Romulus or Alien? Do I want to watch Halloween newer one or the original? Like, I'm always going to pick the original, and these, like, get close, but they don't succeed in doing much more. It's sort of like, you know, when the Rolling Stones, like, they come back and make an album that's like the old stuff. I'm like, oh, cool, but I'd much rather listen to the stuff in the 60s and 70s. And it's just, like, I kind of find these exercises a bit futile, because, like, yes, they're exciting when we see them. We've got all this pent-up demand and stuff, but, like, in 5 years, if someone's going, we're going to watch both Beetlejuices, you're probably going to, like, dip out before the second one comes on. And it's not just because, you know, it's unfair to compare them and stuff. It's because, like, this stuff just feels, the stakes feel very low filmmaking wise. They're not pushing anything. And this feels the same way. Now, this is better than a lot of the sequel things, because I think they did try and to get that original, and like the chemistry between everyone is great and it's fun to watch and stuff like that, and like same with A Dirty Shame. But it's just like, what ultimately are we doing with this sort of thing? And I don't know if it's really ever answered itself. And it's also like Tim Burton returned to his earlier style with Frankenweenie a little over, like over 10 years ago. So like even him returning to his thing has already been done, and then he makes a bunch of other stuff that whatever, and then we're back again. So I mean, Michael Keaton is great as Beetlejuice. He's always been great as Beetlejuice. Winona Ryder's great. Jenna Ortega works so well with the Tim Burton stuff. I know like she's kind of part of the Tim Burton thing now with Wednesday. Supposedly some writers from Wednesday worked on this. That seems to be part of his thing. Almost everyone worked. Justin Theroux was the only part that kind of stuck out to me. I don't know if he's... I assume he's age appropriate with Winona Ryder. I kind of would have liked an actor from her era, or like... It's almost like weird because when I was watching I was like, I feel like Johnny Depp could have probably been this guy, and like... It's weird that he's not, or Christian Slater, or like somebody who's like of her era, and it just like felt a little like, I don't know. I think it might be nitpicky because he was decent and stuff, and they do try to recapture moments in this, like have the Cake Out in the Rain song instead of Deo, which doesn't feel as... I do think they're sort of missing the joke, because I did mention this in my Beetlejuice review, but the reason they picked Deo is because that album that was awful was very popular in the suburbs at the time. And so it's like, to me, it's like, well, wouldn't you pick like something that's similar to that now? But whatever. I think it like sort of works, but it just, that scene doesn't play as well. Like I don't think this film works in recapturing moments. I think this film works in continuing stuff, but unlike like something like Creed, which really thinks about where we are now and the filmmaking theory of it and stuff, it feels like Tim Burton's having more fun like being his old self again, rather than thinking of the theory of where all these people would be film-wise and everything like that. And I think obviously he knows where they are, but it doesn't feel as like organic in a lot of the sense in it. And I don't know. It's sort of like, yeah, this was a fun movie. If you see it, you're not going to be disappointed. But like, I can see the grand scheme of things with this, and the grand scheme of things is like fucking nothing. This is just like air. Like, this represents... Like, I feel like a lot of these reboots, like, we're not really saying anything other than we're back. And you're like, okay, well, what does that mean? Like, we're back. And you're like, I thought, wait, is there anything more? And sure, Beetlejuice didn't really say anything originally. So I think, like, this one sort of works within that. It's not, like, it definitely gets the character and the property or the IP or whatever the fuck. Like, it gets all that, but... I don't know. That was just my thing. Is like, even, I liked revisiting the cartoon and the movie, but like watching this, I was like, I don't know if we should maybe stop doing this so much. Like, I just watched Michael Keaton return to Batman last summer, and now I'm watching Return to Beetlejuice, and I guess that Multiplicity sequel's coming up any day now. But I don't know. It is cool seeing like Tim Burton can still do it. I kind of wish he would invent a new thing and do it with it, but I almost wish he made something original with his style, done something different with it. Even some sort of a critique or a statement on his own personal style, which he seems to sort of not want to get into or think about, to be honest with you. But maybe I shouldn't focus on that. Maybe I should focus on, he got the band back together and, save the town, and everyone's happy with that, and that's sort of the level at which this operates at. And maybe the first one is just like a fun, ghoulish, kind of family-ish kind of movie, and this is like that again, and it's cool that it is that, and I think that's what this is, but don't expect me to act like this was deep or a great return, because I don't think it lives up to like his better work or anything. I think it's just better because his filmography post that has been kind of garbage. But it's fun seeing Michael Keaton again. I like seeing Winona Ryder again. I wish we would see them say something new with it. Jenna Ortega has like a boyfriend. I didn't think that really worked that well. Like, I don't know. It has a lot of moving pieces. Like how they deal with Jeffrey Jones is very funny and actually works. I was surprised. I wish Gary Shaddix had lived, to be honest, but that's unfortunate. I don't know. It was fine. I had a good time again. And maybe the problem is seeing like Twisters and then Deadpool and Wolverine and then Alien Romulus and The Crow and then seeing this. I'm just sort of burned out on this stuff. Like, I've seen so many this year and so many in a row, I just sort of need I need something that isn't referencing something at this point. And I just keep seeing things that are referencing other things or living up to certain things or having a part where like he did the thing, and I'm like, I don't know how many he did the thing I have left in me, and I've seen everything from my childhood recaptured in some way, and like I worry the millennials are definitely going to be worse than the boomers. Like if the boomers were as bad as the millennials, Matthew McConaughey would have become famous for being in a Smokey and the Bandit reboot or something. It's nice seeing Monica Bellucci also on getting the videos in it for a second. It's nice seeing Tim Burton understand how, it's like, yes, you can do it, but where are we going with this? And I would love this to be like a new rejuvenation of his style and his aesthetic, and like we get like these cool original kind of weird Tim Burton movies like this, and they're fun and have a huge cast and are funny and stuff. Like that would be great. And I do think he's able to do the weird structure like this. Like I don't see any modern filmmakers who can do that other than Tim Burton did this. So like I do commend him for that. I keep maybe asking for like maybe some aspect of this that works. I don't know. I think it's just like at this point in reboot summer, I question what is the point of it all other than to get us all to go to the theaters and be excited. And I think this film as well. It's like, okay, you're the best one, but like what are you even doing with it? And I don't think Tim Burton really has an answer. And it's like Michael Keaton do it. They all got paydays. It was fun, but in the end, I do find the whole exercise of these things a little futile and more about Hollywood maintaining market share than like actually doing anything with it. And maybe that's silly because Beetlejuice is not meant really to tell a story. It's just like kind of a hodgepodge of stuff and you have an entertaining time. And maybe I should be more okay with that. I should just go along with it. And maybe I'm putting too much on that, but that's how I felt when I saw this, and I felt with these reboots and having seen so many of them, and I can't really escape that feeling. And I feel like that's all throughout Beetlejuice because you have so many talented people returning, and unlike the rest of them, they do a good job, but it just feels to me like a dirty shame, or watching a musical artist recapture something on an album, but they're recapturing it, not reinventing it. And I think at this point I'd like to have a second wind of Tim Burton, and I don't think this is really a second wind. It's just him playing a concert with all the songs you like without all the newer material you don't. The problem is he's still the artist who made the CG sludge, which made me not like him in the first place, and I'm not fully convinced that he's free from that, but for this brief little window, it gave me some hope, and I had some fun, and maybe I should just be okay with that. So if you have seen Beetlejuice Beetlejuice and would like to talk about it, then comment below in the comments, and subscribe if you would like.